अथ एकादशोऽध्यायः। विश्वरूपदर्शनयोगः। अर्जुन उवाच मदनुग्रहाय परमं गुह्यमध्यात्मसंज्ञितम् यत्त्वयोक्तं वचस्तेन मोहोऽयं विगतो मम। भवाप्ययौ हि भूतानां श्रुतौ विस्तरशो मया त्वत्तः कमलपत्राक्ष महात्म्यमपि चाव्ययम्। एवमेतद्यथार्थत्वम् आत्मानं परमेश्वर द्रष्टुमिच्छामि ते रूपमैश्वरं पुरुषोत्तम। मन्यसे यदि तच्छक्यं मया द्रष्टुमिति प्रभो योगेश्वर ततो मे त्वं दर्शयात्मानमव्ययम्। श्रीभगवानुवाच पश्य मे पार्थरूपाणि शतशोऽथसहस्रशः नानाविधानि दिव्यानि नानावर्णाकृतीनि च। पश्यादित्यान् वसून् रुद्रान् अश्विनौ मरुतस्तथा बहून्यदृष्टपूर्वाणि पश्याश्चर्याणि भारत। इहैकस्थं जगत्कृत्स्नं पश्याद्य सचराचरम् मम देहे गुडाकेश यच्चान्यद्द्रष्टुमिच्छसि न तु मां शक्यसे द्रष्टुमनेनैव स्वचक्षुषा। दिव्यं ददामि ते चक्षुः पश्य मे योगमैश्वरम्। सञ्जय उवाच एवमुक्त्वा ततो राजन् महायोगेश्वरो हरिः दर्शयामास पार्थाय परमं रूपमैश्वरम्। अनेकवक्त्रनयनम् अनेकाद्भुतदर्शनम् अनेकदिव्याभरणं दिव्यानेकोद्यतायुधम् दिव्यमाल्याम्बरधरं दिव्यगन्धानुलेपनम् सर्वाश्चर्यमयं देवमनन्तं विश्वतोमुखम्। दिवि सूर्यसहस्रस्य भवेद्युगपदुत्थिता यदि भासदृशी सा स्याद्भासस्तस्य महात्मनः। तत्रैकस्थं जगत्कृत्स्नं प्रविभक्तमनेकधा अपश्यद्देवदेवस्य शरीरे पाण्डवस्तदा। ततः स विस्मयाविष्टो हृष्टरोमा धनञ्जयः प्रणम्य शिरसा देवं कृताञ्जलिरभाषत। अर्जुन उवाच पश्यामि देवांस्तव देवदेहे सर्वांस्तथा भूतविशेषसङ्घान् ब्रह्माणमीशं कमलासनस्थम् ऋषीश्च सर्वान् उरगांश्च दिव्यान् अनेकबाहूदरवक्त्रनेत्रम् पश्यामि त्वां सर्वतोऽनन्तरूपम्। नान्तं न मध्यं न पुनस्तवादिम् पश्यामि विश्वेश्वर विश्वरूप। किरीटिनं गदिनं चक्रिणं च तेजोराशिं सर्वतो दीप्तिमन्तम् पश्यामि त्वां दुर्निरीक्ष्यं समन्ताद् दीप्तानलार्कद्युतिमप्रमेयम्। त्वमक्षरं परमं वेदितव्यम् त्वमस्य विश्वस्य परं निधानम्। त्वमव्ययः शाश्वतधर्मगोप्ता सनातनस्त्वं पुरुषो मतो मे। अनादिमध्यान्तमनन्तवीर्यम् अनन्तबाहुं शशिसूर्यनेत्रम् पश्यामि त्वां दीप्तहुताशवक्त्रम् स्वतेजसा विश्वमिदं तपन्तम्। द्यावा पृथिव्योरिदमन्तरं हि व्याप्तं त्वयैकेन दिशश्च सर्वाः। दृष्ट्वाद्भुतं रूपमुग्रं तवेदम् लोकत्रयं प्रव्यथितं महात्मन्। अमीहि त्वां सुरसङ्घा विशन्ति केचिद्भीताः प्राञ्जलयो गृह्णन्ति स्वस्तीत्युक्त्वा महर्षिसिद्धसङ्घाः स्तुवन्ति त्वां स्तुतिभिः पुष्कलाभिः रुद्रादित्या वसवो ये च साध्या विश्वेश्विनौ मरुतश्चोष्मपाश्च गन्धर्वयक्षासुरसिद्धसङ्घा वीक्षन्ते त्वां विस्मिताश्चैव सर्वे रूपं महत्ते बहुवक्त्रनेत्रम् महाबाहो बहुबाहूरुपादम् बहूदरं बहुदंष्ट्राकरालम् दृष्ट्वा लोकाः प्रव्यथितास्तथाहम् नभः स्पृशं दीप्तमनेकवर्णम् व्यात्ताननं दीप्तविशालनेत्रम् दृष्ट्वा हि त्वां प्रव्यथितान्तरात्मा धृतिं न विन्दामि शमं च विष्णो दंष्ट्राकरालानि च ते मुखानि दृष्ट्वैव कालानलसन्निभानि दिशो न जाने न लभे च शर्मा प्रसीद देवेश जगन्निवास अमी च त्वां धृतराष्ट्रस्य पुत्राः सर्वे सहैवावनिपालसङ्घैः भीष्मो द्रोणः सूतपुत्रस्तथासौ सहास्मदीयैरपि योधमुख्यैः वक्त्राणि ते त्वरमाणा विशन्ति दंष्ट्राकरालानि भयानकानि केचिद्विलग्ना दशनान्तरेषु सन्दृश्यन्ते चूर्णितैरुत्तमाङ्गैः यथा नदीनां बहवोऽम्बुवेगाः समुद्रमेवाभिमुखा द्रवन्ति तथा तवामी नरलोकवीरा विशन्ति वक्त्राण्यभिविज्वलन्ति यथा प्रदीप्तं ज्वलनं पतङ्गा विशन्ति नाशाय समृद्धवेगाः तथैव नाशाय विशन्ति लोकाः तवापि वक्त्राणि समृद्धवेगाः लेलिह्यसे ग्रसमानः समन्तात् लोकान् समग्रान् वदनैर्ज्वलद्भिः तेजोभिरापूर्य जगत्समग्रम् भासस्तवोग्राः प्रतपन्ति विष्णो आख्याहि मे को भवानुग्ररूपो नमोऽस्तु ते देववर प्रसीद विज्ञातुमिच्छामि भवन्तमाद्यम् न हि प्रजानामि तव प्रवृत्तिम् श्रीभगवानुवाच कालोऽस्मि लोकक्षयकृत् प्रवृद्धो लोकान् समाहर्तुमिह प्रवृत्तः ऋतेऽपि त्वां न भविष्यन्ति सर्वे येव स्थिताः प्रत्यनीकेषु योधाः तस्मात् त्वमुत्तिष्ठ यशो लभस्व जित्वा शत्रून् भुङ्क्ष्व राज्यं समृद्धम् मयैवैते निहताः पूर्वमेव निमित्तमात्रं भव सव्यसाचिन् द्रोणं च भीष्मं च जयद्रथं च कर्णं तथान्यानपि योधवीरान् मया हतास्त्वं जहिमा व्यथिष्ठा युध्यस्व चेतासि रणे सपत्नान् सञ्जय उवाच एतच्छ्रुत्वा वचनं केशवस्य कृताञ्जलिर्वेपमानः किरीटी नमस्कृत्वा भूय एवाह कृष्णं सगद्गदं भीतः प्रणम्य अर्जुन उवाच स्थाने ऋषिकेश तव प्रकीर्त्या जगत्प्रहृष्यत्यनुरज्यते च रक्षांसि भीतानि दिशो द्रवन्ति सर्वे नमस्यन्ति च सिद्धसङ्घाः कस्माच्च तेन न मेरन्महात्मन् गरीयसे ब्रह्मणोऽप्यादिकर्त्रे अनन्तदेवेश जगन्निवास त्वमक्षरं सदसत्तत्परं यत् त्वमादिदेवः पुरुषः पुराणः त्वमस्य विश्वस्य परं निधानम् वेत्तासि वेद्यं च परं च धाम त्वया ततं विश्वमनन्तरूप वायुर्यमोऽग्निर्वरुणश्च शाङ्कः प्रजापतिस्त्वं प्रपितामहश्च नमो नमस्तेऽस्तु सहस्रकृत्वः पुनश्च भूयोऽपि नमो नमस्ते नमः पुरस्तादथ पृष्ठतस्ते नमोऽस्तु ते सर्वत एव सर्व अनन्तवीर्यामितविक्रमस्त्वं सर्वं समाप्नोषि ततोऽसि सर्वः सखेति मत्वा प्रसभं यदुक्तं हे कृष्ण हे यादव हे सखेति अजानता महिमानं तवेदं मया प्रमादात् प्रणयेन वापि यच्चावः सार्थमसत्कृतोऽसि विहारशय्यासनभोजनेषु एकोऽथवाप्यच्युत तत्समक्षम् तच्छामये त्वामहमप्रमेयम् पितासि लोकस्य चराचरस्य त्वमस्य पूज्यश्च गुरुर्गरीयान् न त्वत्समोऽस्त्यभ्यधिकः कुतोऽन्यो लोकत्रयेऽप्यप्रतिमप्रभाव तस्मात् प्रणम्य प्रणिधाय कायम् प्रसादये त्वामहमीशमीड्यम् पितेव पुत्रस्य सखेव सख्युः प्रियः प्रियायार्हसि देव सोढुम् अदृष्टपूर्वं ह्यशितोऽस्मि दृष्ट्वा भयेन च प्रव्यथितं मनो मे तदेव मे दर्शय देवरूपम् प्रसीद देवेश जगन्निवास किरीटिनं गदिनं चक्रहस्तम् इच्छामि त्वां द्रष्टुमहं तथैव तेनैव रूपेण चतुर्भुजेन सहस्रबाहो भव विश्वमूर्ते श्रीभगवानुवाच मया प्रसन्नेन तवार्जुनेदं रूपं परं दर्शितमात्मयोगात् तेजोमयं विश्वमनन्तमाद्यं यन्मे त्वदन्येन न दृष्टपूर्वम् न वेदयज्ञाध्ययनैर्न दानैः न च क्रियाभिर्न तपोभिरुग्रैः एवं रूपः शक्य अहं नृलोके द्रष्टुं त्वदन्येन कुरु प्रवीर मा ते व्यथा मा च विमूढभावो दृष्ट्वा रूपं घोरमीदृङ्ममेदम् व्यपेतभिः प्रीतमनाः पुनस्त्वं तदेव मे रूपमिदं प्रपश्य सञ्जय उवाच इत्यर्जुनं वासुदेवस्तथोक्त्वा स्वकं रूपं दर्शयामास भूयः आश्वासयामास च भीतमेनं भूत्वा पुनः सौम्य वपुर्महात्मा अर्जुन उवाच दृष्ट्वेदं मानुषं रूपं तव सौम्यं जनार्दन इदानीमस्मि संवृत्तः सचेताः प्रकृतिं गतः श्रीभगवानुवाच सुदुर्दर्शमिदं रूपं दृष्टवानसि यन्मम देवा अप्यस्य रूपस्य नित्यं दर्शनकाङ्क्षिणः नाहं वेदैर्न तपसा न दानेन न चेज्जया शक्य एवं विधो द्रष्टुं दृष्टवानसि मां यथा भक्त्या त्वनन्यया शक्य अहमेवं विधोऽर्जुन ज्ञातुं द्रष्टुं च तत्त्वेन प्रवेष्टुं च परन्तप मत्कर्म कृन्मत्परमो मद्भक्तः सङ्गवर्जितः निर्वैरः सर्वभूतेषु यः स मामेति पाण्डव ॐ तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे विश्वरूपदर्शनयोगो नाम एकादशोऽध्यायः।
Hare Krishna, can the Zoom participants confirm if you can hear me?
Yes, Guruji.
Welcome all of you for today's evening Bhagavad Gita session on chapter 11, Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga, or the universal form. I think there seems to be some echo. The Zoom participants are getting echo. Can you reduce that? Is that muted? Your system, is it muted? So we'll begin with the invocation. Omkaranathirandasya jnananjanashalakaya chaturunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Pitam Yena Bhutale Ayam Rupamadanyam Dadati Shvapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakavalam Shri Rupam Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sattvajatam Sargana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Shavadutam Karijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sargana Lalita Shri Vishnavam Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Namaste Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhashwati Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyev cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaurabhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Are you still getting an echo? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. I hope it's better. Okay, can you see the screen and hear me again? Echo is still there, yes. Sorry, I got the wrong presentation with me. No, what's happened is sent the chapter 10 by mistake. I have to send chapter 11. Can you go to WhatsApp? Huh? WhatsApp web, can you share the WhatsApp web on this? WhatsApp. Oh, web. You want to use your WhatsApp? Yes. So this chapter is entitled Universal Form, how we can perceive the Lord in this universe, because that is within our experience. And next is the four-handed form, which is even difficult. And the two-handed form is even rare to have experience. Of course, we see pictures of Krishna with two hands, and we see pictures and deities of Vishnu with four hands. But personally, what is within our experience is this universe we see. So that's why Krishna is trying to explain to Arjuna how he can be perceived in this universe, because that is our first level of experience of God. We see God in this nature, and then only we can think that there's a cause for this universal form and who's the cause for that Vishnu form. All this analysis we can come later. So can you hear me properly and see my screen? The screen should be not issue. Voice me. Can someone confirm? So Arjuna is requesting Krishna to show his universal form in this chapter. So Arjuna is saying my illusion has been dispelled. So what is the greatest illusion is? One, as we saw in the last chapter, to not recognize God. That is the first illusion. And second illusion is not knowing what we are supposed to do. These are the two main illusions, not recognizing who is God and what am I supposed to do. So that was cleared for Arjuna in the previous chapter. Now he wants to go one step further and ask him to show his powerful form by which you pervade, enter and support this universe. Because we also have some experience of God sometimes, but not all the time. Because we are living in a world where not everyone is God conscious, not everything reminds us about God. So even supposing you go out in this world and see something, war is happening in Ukraine or Russia, the war is happening. Obviously, one cannot remember Krishna at that time because in front of him is seeing very ghastly scenes. So that is the main challenge, how to remember Krishna all the time. That's why this chapter is very important, where Krishna is showing the universal form to Arjuna, because in the war, once he's hearing the Bhagavad Gita now, very peacefully, when the war has not yet started. But once he started fighting in the war battle, obviously he's going to forget whatever he heard. So therefore, Krishna prepares him for that by showing what is going to happen right now. But he says, if you think I can behold it. He's not demanding Krishna to show the universal form. He's saying, if you think that I will be able to, sometimes even if I show you what is the future, some people go to the astrologer. Astrologer tells everything, let us say, assuming he's a very good astrologer and tells people about their future. Still, people are in despair because the next question will be, what am I supposed to do? If you say that this is going, let us say astrology says indefinitely this is going to happen, especially if it's something bad, then that doesn't solve the problem. Even if I know what is going to happen, the next question is, how am I going to face that? So that's why here Arjuna is asking, if you think I can behold it. So in other words, we need to be prepared to accept the reality also. Even if the reality is presented before us, we should develop the qualification to accept that reality, and that's what Arjuna is asking. Then Lord Krishna describes his universal form. Because supposing I show you a picture which you are seeing for the first time, obviously you won't understand it unless I explain it. Suppose you go to the doctor and you take your X-ray, and unless he explains what is in the X-ray, you won't really benefit from the knowledge. So similarly, Krishna is describing about his own universal form. And for that he says, I will give you divine eyes, Divya Chakshu. Divya Chakshu means this universal form can be seen only by the demigods. Just like the plan of this building, I don't know. That document should be with someone who originally built this building. Similarly, the universal form was conceived much before I came into existence. So demigods' lifetime we saw is much longer. So at least they are capable of understanding this universal form. So Krishna gives Arjuna that the eyes by which the demigods are able to perceive this world. Behold my mystic opulence, Yoga Maishvara. So mysticism means perfection. For us, everything seems imperfect. In this world, we see something is perfect, something is imperfect, or something is good and bad, because it is relative. But it is mystical in the sense that I don't understand it, but it is working perfectly. For me, it looks some imperfection is there, But the person who knows how it is working, he knows that it is perfect. Now, whatever conversation is happening between Arjuna and Krishna, that Sanjaya is describing it to Dhritarashtra, because Dhritarashtra is blind and he cannot go to the battlefield. So that may be our position also, that we may not have access to this kind of knowledge which Arjuna is able to receive from Krishna, because Arjuna is very intimate friend of Krishna and devotee of Krishna from eternally. But if we cannot qualify to receive that knowledge, still we can hear it from authorities. Just like Sanjaya got this qualification from his spiritual master Veda Vyasa, and whatever Sanjaya is describing to Dhritarashtra, like that, similarly, we can also get this knowledge by hearing. So Sanjaya describes the Arjuna's vision of the universal form in the way which Arjuna saw it. Krishna is showing it in a certain way, but Arjuna is perceiving it in his capacity. So Arjuna sees unlimited faces, arms, eyes, weapons, and so on. Just like if I am able to do something, I need a face, I need all these different parts of my body to acquire knowledge and do actions. Similarly, if something is happening perfectly in this universe, there should be some information transmitting in different ways. So how is the universal form able to see it and function in this? So he says wonderful effulgent universal form. So effulgence means something I don't need light to see it. It is self-illuminating, self-revealing. Certain things I need not explain. Supposing I give you some food item, better than me explaining how it tastes. If you taste it yourself, you will get a better understanding. So this universal form is such that once you see it, it will be obvious to you some things. Supposing if I tell you what is going to happen in the future, you can't graphically see it. But if you are able to see it yourself, then you get a better understanding. Seeing everything in the universe at one place. So this is another greatness about this universal form, that Arjuna is able to see everything in one place. For us, it is not possible. See, if you want to see, even if you want to see what is happening everywhere, you have to put so many cameras, and so many will be required that you can't fill this. Even this whole room is not sufficient. But that is not the case with this universal form, that even sitting in one place is able to get full knowledge about what is happening in the entire universe. So that is possible in the body of Lord Krishna. Now, Arjuna's experience of seeing this universal form is that it is very difficult to behold, he says. Why is it difficult to behold? Because his mind is distracted. When with a distracted mind, even if we present the truth before someone, he will not be able to grasp it. So that is the defect in the person who is seeing it and not the defect in the information. And so this is Krishna's supremacy, that it is, even if God were to reveal himself, it is very difficult for us to understand it completely. Now, Arjuna is trying to describe still what he is seeing. Supposing someone is showing to you and you want to make sure you understood it properly, then what you do, you repeat what you are seeing. Supposing I say you look at something and you say, yes, I am seeing this, to reconfirm that what he is trying to show and what you are seeing. So Arjuna's discussion of the Kala Rupa, the form of time. So ultimately, if you see, this whole creation is under the control of time. Everything is perfectly controlled by time. So there's no origin, middle, or end. So why he says no origin, middle, and end? Right now, time is concerned, we divide it into three sections. We say that this is the past, this is the present, this is the future. But in the case of this Arjuna's experience of this universal form, he was seeing past, present, future at the same time. So unlimited strength he is seeing, which means he is able to understand the power of time. Right now, we don't see the power of time. Sometimes we see time pressure, but sometimes we see, okay, time is going freely, no problem. But when the situation arises, we think, yes, time is very precious, rarely. But here, Arjuna could perceive how powerful time is because he is seeing so many things happening in front of him. As the demigods offered prayers, Arjuna becomes fearful. Now, even the demigods, they are offering prayers because, see, they are able to see what is going to happen. Supposing a child is there, a goat is there, it is in the butcher's shop. It doesn't know it is going to be killed. It is happily eating the grass. But the human being is able to see that this goat will be killed soon. So he becomes fearful. So similarly, we don't see many things that are happening in the universe, so we are calm and peaceful. But the demigods are able to see what is going to happen, and so they become fearful. So all this is Arjuna is explaining. So Arjuna sees the future outcome of the war. Because Arjuna's main objection to fighting this war is, one of the objections was, I do not know what will be the outcome. He knows to some extent theoretically what can happen, but actually what will happen he could not see. So therefore he was hesitating to fight the war. But in this universal form, Arjuna could see exactly what is going to happen, and that is what he says, the warriors entering the all-devouring Vishwarupa's mouth. So the universe is such that some things are being created, some things are existing, and some things are getting destroyed. So Arjuna asks, who are you? Although Arjuna was very dear to Krishna, when he saw this universal form of Krishna, he could not see the connection between this universal form and Krishna. Just like you have a very close friend or someone, you are used to some experience with him, and suddenly you are put in a situation where he is completely different person. Then you are confused. Oh, I thought my friend is like this, my husband or wife is like this, but in this situation I saw her behave like this, and I just could not understand who she is. So, who are you? What is your mission? Because Arjuna always saw Krishna as his very dear friend. He is always smiling, talking very pleasant words. But if you see the universal form, it is very destructive. So sometimes people have this very difficult to accept that God can be very destructive. Something bad happens to them, they will ask, first question is, how God can be so cruel? Because they think all along that God means he will do everything good for me, everything will happen the way I want it. And once things go differently, although it is also the plan of the God, they are not able to accept it. So therefore Arjuna is asking, what is your mission? What is the purpose of this universal form? Then Krishna replies, the time I am, Krishna says that in this universe, the people in this world perceive me in the form of time. So become my instrument. So problem with all of us is, we are thinking that I am acting, but actually we are not doing anything. Only material nature is acting everything. Only according to our desire, material nature is working under the sanction of the Supreme Lord. So when we are actually doing devotional service, that is when we are actually started doing something. So there's a very important verse in the Bhagavatam, Ayur Harati Vaipumsam Yadyan Nastau Chayan Nasau Tasyate Et Chanoniyatam Uttama Shloka Vartaya. That is, time is destroying every day by the rising and setting of the sun. Something is being created and something is being destroyed. But only those who engage in devotional service, they are not affected by this time. So that's why Krishna says, because someone may ask why I should do devotion. What is the big thing I'm going to achieve? The big thing is that if you don't do devotion, time will destroy whatever you try to accumulate in this life. So that's why Krishna says to Arjuna, become my instrument, which means you follow my directions. Now, I am time the ultimate destroyer. I have already killed Drona, Bhishma, Jayadratha, Karna and other warriors. Because Arjuna was thinking in the beginning of the battle, how I will be able to do all these things? How I will be able to fight this battle? I am not equipped mentally or physically to fight against these great people or even my family elders. Then Krishna says, it is not that you are fighting, that will be done by my element of time. You just become an instrument. So Krishna is the ultimate doer and we have to just cooperate. So then Arjuna offers prayers. First of all, he is glorifying. Normally when we see something very ghastly, we close our mouth and keep quiet. But here Arjuna, because he is already a devotee, he is appreciating once he sees this, of the pleasing and ferocious forms that are objects of attraction and repulsion. So the advanced person is not biased. Okay, I like this, so I'll appreciate this. I don't like this, so I'll condemn this. No. He is able to see the purpose of both the good and bad. So that's why he is able to glorify. And he is offering obeisances from all sides. Why he has to offer obeisance from all sides? Because there's a multi-dimensional experience he's having. It's not that I appreciate something and I don't appreciate something or I condemn something. He's learning to appreciate all aspects of God. And he's apologizing for the offenses committed in friendly relationship, because all along he had maintained a relationship of friendship with Krishna and he had a limited conception of Krishna. So now when he sees this universal form of Krishna, then he understands the greatness of Krishna. And he requests to show the pleasant four-armed form. Because the four-armed form of Lord Vishnu, if you see, there's the conch shell, club, lotus and disc. So what is the significance of these four things? The conch shell is to remove all inauspiciousness. By blowing the conch shell is to invoke auspiciousness and remove inauspiciousness. And the disc is to annihilate the demons. The club and the disc is for annihilating the demons. The conch shell and the lotus is for the devotees. So, because even when Krishna appeared as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki, they were very fearful that Kamsa may come and kill the child. So therefore, he first showed them the four-armed form to assure them that they need not fear. So next section talks about how pure bhakti is the prerequisite to see any form of Krishna. How would you understand God who has these three aspects of Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan? How would we realize God in different stages? So first qualification is one should be pure bhakti. Bhakti means we should approach God in the way he tells us to approach him. That is another meaning of bhakti is you try to approach God in the way he wants you to approach him. So it is very rare to see the Krishnas, how God is controlling this universe. Many people think there's no controller for this universe. So they don't see any connection between Krishna and this universal form. So that's why it's very rare to see this connection. How we are living in the world which is completely depending on the Lord. And no one has seen it before Arjuna. So that shows that only a qualified person like Arjuna can understand the greatness of Krishna. And Krishna reveals his four-armed form and then his two-hand form. So why he has to go in these stages? Because universal form is the all-pervasive feature. Then the four-armed form is the localized feature of the Paramatma feature. And the two-armed form is the Bhagavan feature. So to show that the two-armed form is the source of the four-armed form and the four-armed form is the source of this universal form, this connection has to be established. So first Krishna showed him the universal form and then showed the four-armed form which is the source of this universal form. Then he showed the two-armed form which is the source of this four-armed form and the universal form. So the conclusion is Krishna is known and seen only by Ananya Bhakti. So all this can possible only when Krishna is pleased with us. Supposing you want to get very close to some person. Only when he is satisfied with you, he thinks that yes, this person I can reveal the truth to him. Will he give the knowledge? So similarly, the qualification to understand God is we begin devotion. So perform bhakti to attain Krishna. So if you want to get complete knowledge in this world, both phenomenal and numinal, we have to take to the process of devotion. So in the previous chapter, Krishna said how he pervades and supports the entire universe with a single fragment of his power. So at the end of the 10th chapter, after describing his opulences, Krishna concludes by saying that this is just a fragment of my unlimited opulences. So then one may ask, why are you not telling me, okay, you are saying that, but I want to experience it. If I say I'm a very rich person and keep on telling I'm a rich person, one person will demand, okay, you say you're rich, let me know how rich you are. So similarly, someone may say, okay, Krishna said all this in the 10th chapter, but I still want more evidence. So similarly, Arjuna wants to know how, supposing I make a statement, the next question will be, can you prove it or can you demonstrate it? So similarly, Arjuna is asking Krishna to demonstrate that he is in fact pervading and supporting this entire universe. So first, this chapter begins with Arjuna telling to Krishna, because before Krishna shows the universal form, Arjuna should tell what is his present condition. Supposing you go to a doctor, you have to explain him a present condition. So Arjuna is telling his present condition is that his illusion has been dispelled. So that is the first condition to see this universal form, that one should be free from illusion. So how did you get this free from illusion? What is the illusion? As I told in the beginning, the greatest illusion is to not recognize God. And second thing is not to see our connection with God. What are we supposed to do? If you think that God will do everything, I don't do anything, that's also wrong. Or if you think that I will do everything, I don't need God, that is also illusion. So now Arjuna was cleared of this illusion. How? By your great mercy in explaining to me these most confidential spiritual subjects about your opulences. So Krishna's mercy means when Krishna, God reveals himself to us in some form. It is his mercy, which means he is pleased with us. So then we should take a clue from that and do something which will please him more. I have heard from you, O lotus-eyed Lord, Kamala Patraksha. Now Arjuna is glorifying Krishna's form. Because in future he is going to see the universal form, which is very ghastly. But as of now, he is glorifying the beautiful form of Krishna. And now Arjuna heard from Krishna theoretically how he is creating and dissolving all these universes. Basically, universe means what? The living entities coming in contact with this material nature. Then only we see this universe very active. Otherwise, the universe as such is dull matter. Only when living entities enter this dull matter, there is some activity in this world. So I have also realized your inexhaustible glories, Mahatmyam api cha avyayam. Avyayam means inexhaustible. In being unaffected by this. So what is the greatest about Krishna is, although he is the creator of this universe, he is unaffected by it. Supposing I create an industry, depending on whether it's in profit or loss, I am affected, isn't it? I cannot say that I am created and I don't need to do anything. Even the top richest person in the country is also in anxiety. What will happen to his own company? So, but in the case of Krishna, it is not like that. Although he has created this universe, he is not affected by it. So that is a avyayam, that is the inexhaustible glory that Arjuna is appreciating in Krishna. Now he is saying, I desire to see your universal form. He wants to know more about Krishna. He is not satisfied. Devotee is also not satisfied. Just like the non-atheist is also trying to prove himself that God doesn't exist, or to prove that he is correct. Similarly, the devotee also wants to be convinced about what he is doing. So I want to see your universal form. By which you enter and support this. Factually, how is it when you say that you are supporting and entering? Suppose Krishna says, I am in the atom, smallest of the smallest and the biggest of the biggest, because Krishna is saying, I am the Sarvaloka Maheshwara, is the proprietor of all planets. How is it? Or you say, I am the smallest of the smallest. So how can you really experience this? Supposing you say there are so many atoms, protons, electrons. Okay, that is still theoretical. If I do some appropriate extra apparatus by which I can show you and say, yes, this is the atom or proton, then you will be more convinced scientifically. But one point is here that universal form of Krishna is temporary. Why temporary? Because this world is constantly changing. Just like supposing this, I have to make some modification to the building. Then first I have to look at the plan of the building, then only I can make the change in that plan, and then I have to implement it in the structural modification. So if something, this material nature being temporary, the universal form, which is the background for this material nature, also has to be temporary. Just like if my mind is constantly changing, first I decide I will build a house as per one plan. Then that thought I put it in a blueprint, and then I ask the engineer to construct it. But let us say I change my idea. Then if I say my idea is different, but still the engineer is concerned, he has to make the modification in the blueprint. At least if it's a very sophisticated building, he will not simply take your word and do the modification. He will go to the blueprint and there only make the modification, because he has to communicate that information down the line to so many people. He cannot every time tell what you told him. So similarly, if some change has to happen in this material world, then the universal form also has to accommodate those changes. And it is not eternally situated in spiritual sky like the Krishna's other forms. Krishna has many forms, as we said, he is the 400 form. Those never change. His 200 form also never changes. But his universal form can change because it is pertinent to this material world, which is always undergoing change. Why is it like that? Because the living entities want to see God in a different way. Supposing you know an actor. You are not satisfied by seeing him like that. You want to see him perform different roles. So because you don't have an intimate connection, supposing this wife is there, an actor's wife is there. If the husband keeps changing the costume daily and coming to, she'll get annoyed. Why are you acting in front of me? You appear in front of me in your proper form. Maybe for the public, you can do different costumes. So this universal form is there because the living entities in this material world want to see God in a different way. They want God to do different things according to their desires. So to accommodate such living entities, the Lord has creating this universal form. But why is he requesting then? For others' sake. Although Arjuna is fully convinced that Krishna is the supreme absolute truth and he is the source and creator and maintainer, he wants to demonstrate it, share deeper knowledge to others who are still not convinced. So that people could understand that Krishna, not theoretically, but philosophically presented as a supreme, but actually presented as such. So through Arjuna, we come to know what is that universal form. Just like some doctor is there. He tells something, your medical condition, but you're not convinced. Then what you do? You go to another doctor for second opinion. Then you say, this doctor told that this is my problem. Do you agree with that? And the line of treatment. So similarly, even though Krishna was to show us the universal form, we will not be able to understand it unless we hear it from a devotee like Arjuna. So now Arjuna, when he shares his experience of the universal form, then we are more likely to get better understanding. And another reason why Arjuna wants Krishna to show the universal form is to prove that if someone claims to be God in future, unless he shows his universal form, you need not accept him as God. Especially in this present age, you see there are many godmen. They are called godmen. There are more followers for godmen than for the original God. If you go to some of the temples where the self-manifested deities, they are not different from God himself, but nobody goes there. But there are so many godmen, people throng to see godmen, and even those who are not God also, godmen also, they have become gods now. Some celebrity is there. He is treated like God. So what is the criteria for who is God? That has to be said very clearly. So that purpose is served by Arjuna requesting Krishna to show the universal form. But still Arjuna says, if you think that I can behold your cosmic form, in other words, you should be qualified to get some knowledge also. Just because the sun is there, you cannot open your eyes and try to see the sun. You need some specific telescope by which you can actually see the surface of the sun. Similarly, even if God were to reveal knowledge about himself, we need to be qualified for that. Why? Why it's so important? Because mystic power. Yogeshwara. That the tiny cannot understand the great. So unless the great person tells to the small about himself, we cannot understand. So that is another qualification of Arjuna, that if you don't know something, you should admit that I don't know. Then you are in a better position to receive the knowledge, although you are not qualified. So if Arjuna himself was not qualified, where are we? So we can just learn to appreciate by hearing. So now, once this precedent is, first Arjuna is saying that my illusion is gone, and then he is telling why he wants to see the universal form, and also he is telling that if you think I can see it. So with this premise, then Krishna is going to describe his universal form. Now Krishna says, now see my opulences. So why does he make that statement just in the beginning of the war? Also Krishna said, just behold the army. Because Arjuna was thinking that he will see his, all of them in front of him and he will fight. But when he actually saw, he lost his determination to fight. So although we may, Arjuna wanted to see Krishna's universal form, still if Krishna were to reveal the universal form, then Arjuna may get bewildered. So therefore Krishna is preparing him for this. Arjuna, my hundreds of thousands of wonderful divine forms of varied types, colors and shapes. So Krishna is preparing Arjuna as to what he should see. Supposing I bring a picture in front of you with so much information, I'll get more confused. So, but if I tell you in that picture you have to look for this, then you are more likely to benefit by that information. So Krishna is telling Arjuna what he should look for in the universal form. Behold the many wonderful things which no one has ever seen or heard of before. So in other words, whenever we see something new, actually we try to relate it with what we have already seen. That is common experience in physics and common sense. There's a major work going on. Whatever we perceive, we try to first relate it with what we already see. Even if it is completely different, I try to understand it the way I know it. Supposing I give you some food item which you have never eaten, then what you will do, first you will say, yes, it looks to me that this is like that, which means you have eaten something else, and the new food which I give you, you try to say it resembles what I already experienced. But Krishna is telling here, Arjuna, this is not something which you have experienced before. That is first thing is clarified. And how does he say that? Even the Adityas, Vasus, Rudras, Ashwini Kumars, and all other demigods. In other words, even the best people who can see what normal human beings cannot see, that I am showing you now. See within my body. He doesn't have to look anywhere else. That's why people have this doubt, if I do devotion, maybe I'll miss out of so many information in this world. No. When you do devotion, you can see everything much better than others. So here Krishna says, you see within my body whatever you wish to see. Our body is concerned is limited. I can say my body has so much dimensions, but God's body has no dimensions because it is basically information. Even our body, if you see, there is a subtle body that's called aura. And some people have a bigger aura, which means their body is not confined to this body. They have a bigger body. So anyway, see within my body whatever you wish to see. This whole universe with its moving and non-moving entities. Some things are moving, and when that moving object comes within our perception, we can see. But what if something is not moving and far, far away? See, supposing I have to go to one moon or star, unless I go there, I cannot experience it. But let us say it is coming very close to me, then maybe I can see it. So here Krishna is saying both moving and non-moving, they can be experienced in this universal form, in one place at one time. Again, time is very difficult. If I want to explain something which is going to happen in the future, it's very difficult. And what happened in the past, that is also very difficult. Even the present, parallelly, many things are happening. So how do I explain to you? I can maybe explain what is happening right now, right in this place at this time. But how to explain things which are happening in different places, in different time scales? But Krishna says it is possible in this universal form. Why? He says, I will give you divine eyes. Just like when in the earlier days, when these 3D movies came into, maybe 20, 30 years back, they also had this 3D movies. So they said to see this 3D movie, they will do some special spectacles by which you can understand what, otherwise you won't see it properly. So similarly, to see this universal form, Krishna is giving him the Divya Chakshu. So what is this? Because you cannot see me with your present eyes. Behold my mystic opulence. What is the present eyes of Arjuna? He is seeing Krishna as his friend. He sees Krishna as his friend. So he cannot understand this universal form. Whereas the demigods, for them, it is just like some animals are there. They can see something which we don't see. For example, dogs are there. Sometimes they can see ghosts. We cannot see. How is that? It is supposed to be lower than us in terms of consciousness, but it is able to perceive some sounds and forms which we don't see. So which means each body is suitable for seeing something different. So now one more reason why Arjuna cannot see this universal form is because he is a pure devotee, which means he will see for devotion in Krishna. He is not interested in these powers of Krishna. But there are some people who want to see only the powers in Krishna and not the beauty of Krishna. So therefore, Krishna is telling Arjuna that you have to assume this. Now you are a pure devotee, so you will see everything about me as good only. If I see someone, my impression is he is a very good person. So I will see, even someone tells something bad about him, I will see, justify that he is a good person. Now Arjuna all along has been seeing Krishna as God or his friend. So if he has to see Krishna's universal and this ferocious form, it is very difficult for him. Just like one actor was there. He had a daughter, and this actor was playing a villain role in some movie. And this daughter of this actor, when she saw him in that villain role, she started crying. She said, I can't see you doing this kind of roles. So from that day onwards, that actor decided that I will not do this role because my daughter doesn't want me to see me performing this kind of role. So like that, now Arjuna, when he sees Krishna, his universal form, he may get bewildered. What is this? I thought Krishna is like this, but Krishna is also like this. Now, here onwards, Sanjaya is describing Arjuna's vision of the universal form. Because what is happening between Krishna and Arjuna, that Sanjaya is able to witness. And that he is able to tell to Dhritarashtra. So first thing is that everything is visible at one place. Arjuna did not have to go anywhere else or think into the future or the past or even in the present. At that place, at that time, he was able to experience everything. These manifestations of the universal form were distributed throughout the universe, but by the grace and inconceivable potency of Lord Krishna, Arjuna could see them and while sitting in one place. So just like something is happening, some cricket match is going on somewhere. By sitting in your place, by connecting through internet, you are able to see. So there is some mechanism, although you are far, far away from that place, or something might have been recorded and replayed. So like that, this facility was being provided to Arjuna by which he could see things beyond space and time in the body of Krishna, which means he could, just by depending on Krishna, he was able to get all this knowledge. Yet Sanjay tried to give a mental picture of that great revelation to Dhritarashtra in this section. So basically, you can't get that scientifically, it's also proven that if you want to see the reality, it is not possible. That they already proved that you cannot get 100% information about reality. At the most, you can get close to it, just like you have ideal gas law and the real gas. Ideal scenario may be something which you are heading towards, but you can never reach it. So similarly, to understand this universal form is completely not possible. At least you can get closer to it. That's what Sanjay is attempting. Now, then Krishna displays his universal form. So basically, when he says displays universal form, he reveals the knowledge. Just like you switch on the laptop then you're able to see something. Till that time also it is happening. Only when you get connected to that, then you are able to see something. So information is already available. This universal form is already there. But when Krishna gave that connection to Arjuna, then he could, it's not that suddenly it appeared. The universal form, suddenly that match is going on right now. Yeah, when you switched on the laptop, it's not that a TV that match started. It's already happening, and but you got the connection just now. So universal form is already there. Now Arjuna got that connection through Krishna. Now, what did Arjuna see in that form, or what was his experience? Unlimited faces. Just like if I go to a place where there are unlimited seats, sometimes you go to the shops and there are so many TVs, CCTVs are there. Then, even though you have not gone through the entire shopping complex, because the CCTV is connected, you're able to see everything in one place. So, similarly, how God, when God says, I am aware of everything past, present, and future. So he could see factually that the universal form has so many faces. So he could believe that yes, because the universal form has so many faces. Sometimes we hear that Brahma had 4 faces. Originally, he had actually 5 faces. We say Lord Shiva has 5 faces. Brahma also had 5 faces. 1 face was removed, and so that's why he had 4 faces. Anyway, so which means he had to think in that many dimensions. Brahma has to think in that way. Then only he can create it properly. So similarly, this universal form has so many information is gathering by which he can observe everything, and he has therefore unlimited eyes, wonderful visions holding many weapons. Why we need a weapon to control something? You need some instruments. Recently we had Ayuda Puja. Ayuda Puja means without instruments we cannot function. One of the 5 factors of action is instruments. So how Krishna is maintaining this universe? He has some weapons that he calls celestial garlands. Why the garlands are required? Supposing you garlands are just like they have arranged flowers here. Then you tend to notice these pictures. If the pictures were kept without any flowers, you generally ignore it. But because they have put some flowers, you take note of it. Similarly, these garlands are there on the universal form so that he can notice it. Garments, ornaments, and divine scents. Because we are attracted to very good smell. We are attracted to some ornaments. We are attracted to weapons. We see, supposing a policeman comes to this room with some rifle or something, immediately we take note of that because he's carrying a weapon which you and I don't have. Similarly, when the universal form was having all these things, Arjuna could take note of it. It's wondrous, brilliant, infinite, all-expanding, with faces in all directions. Vishvato Bhukam. The effulgence of the universal form is greater than the effulgence of thousands of suns rising at once in the sky. When the person first he dropped before they tested this atom bomb, they did a test on an island, Trinity Island. So that Robert Oppenheimer, he is describing his experience of that atom bomb blast. He remembered the Bhagavad Gita verse. He quoted this verse from the 11th chapter that it was as if Arjuna experienced the universal form. I am experiencing this atom bomb blast. And so we have one experience of one sun. In the Hiroshima bombing also, the people who saw that Hiroshima bombing, they described the experience as seeing unlimited suns at one time. So everything in the universe is seen at one place as various parts of the body of the universal form. So just like a diamond is there, has so many cuts. What is the value of a diamond? How many cuts are there on the diamond? Which means it is able to reflect light many different ways. So both Arjuna and Krishna were on the chariot when Arjuna saw the universal form. So Krishna did not have to take him somewhere else. At that place itself. In other words, you don't have to change your situation to understand God. Whichever situation one may be, if he engages in devotional service, God will reveal to him. Just like Prahlada was there, he could see Narasimhadev even in the pillar. Whereas father had to wait for Narasimhadev to appear in front of him and kill him. So some people, even though God is present in front of them, they don't take note of it. But at the time of death, they will come to their senses. So before dying itself, you should see God. So Arjuna and Krishna both were on the chariot. In other words, we don't have to leave our present situation to understand God. And others on the battlefield could not see because Krishna gave the vision only to Arjuna. So this is another important point. Although the truth is in front of us, it's not necessary that we all of us will notice it. Just like if I take my X-ray and I see my own X-ray, I cannot tell. I need to go take it to a doctor who knows what it is. Even though this X-ray is about my own body, he has to tell me what is happening in my body. Similarly, these people, although they are seeing Krishna in front of them on the battlefield, they could not see this universal form which Arjuna could see. That's why hearing is so important. Only when I hear, supposing I just put this slide and ask you to read it from that, what will you understand? Nothing, unless I talk about it. Similarly, although they all of them in the battlefield could see Krishna in front of them, they could not understand who he is. But here Arjuna, because he is hearing from Krishna, he is able to understand Krishna and the connection with the universal form. So what does he do? He bowed down, bewildered and astonished, which means he is expressing, is just like a doctor is trying to treat a patient. The patient has to respond and say whether it is working or not working. So similarly here Arjuna is responding after seeing this universal form by bowing down, which means he is acknowledging the greatness of Krishna. And but he is bewildered and astonished. Vishmaya or Adbhuta Rasa. So there are 5 primary rasas. Supposing there are you see someone as a friend, you see someone as my parent, or you see someone as a lover or a servant. So these are, but there are 7 secondary rasas which support those 5 primary rasas. Supposing you say so and so is my wife, then if you are, then you probe further and see how do you relate to that person as your wife or a friend or a brother. Then you go into the details which are giving more information about the primary relationship. So now this, actually Arjuna is related to Krishna as a friend, but he is expressing that relationship in a different way by the astonishment and bewilderment. Supposing you like someone, you will not always say, I like you, like you. You will also say something in a different way. His hair standing on end with folded hands, he began to pray to the Supreme Lord. So in the beginning of the war also, Arjuna's hairs were standing on end, but that was out of fear. So hair standing on end, trembling of the voice, all this happens in a fear also and in love also. So here Arjuna, originally it was out of fear, hair standing on end, the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita. Now also his hair is standing on end, but he is out of ecstasy. So, and he is praying to the Supreme Lord. Here prayer means he is glorifying the Lord. Normally we pray to God because we want something. But here Arjuna is praying to offer, is offering to Krishna his prayers. So what is his prayer? He is telling his experience of seeing the universal form. Supposing I am telling you something, at the end of the class, I ask you to repeat what I said. So what is my purpose? If I see that you are understood, I feel I have done something. If you just put a blank face, then I think, okay, they are not understood. So what's the point? So now Arjuna, when he's telling his experience, then Krishna appreciates that, yes, Arjuna has understood what I wanted him to see. Now, what is his realization upon seeing the Vishwarupa? Dear Lord, I see in your body all the demigods, living entities, Brahma sitting on the lotus, Shiva, all the sages and divine serpents. So all this we may theoretically have heard that there are so many demigods, so many living, unlimited living entities, different types of living entities, that there is a Brahma and that he sits on the lotus, Lord Shiva is there. All this theoretically we know, but we don't have practical experience. Now Arjuna is saying that he could see them. Just like I don't see the director, I have not seen personally the Prime Minister on TV, maybe here and there, that's all. But I have never seen Prime Minister or the maybe right now I don't see the someone. But here Arjuna could see them right away, that these demigods in person. O form of the universe, Vishwarupa, O Lord of the universe and the origin of the universal form. Now he is able to see the connection with this universal form and Krishna, because he understood that only Krishna can show me this universal form. So there is some connection between what I am seeing and what I already have experience of Krishna. I see you in your unlimited form, Anantarupa, many arms, bellies, mouths and eyes expanding everywhere without limit. So which means those are not evident to us. How God is controller, how God is the creator, how is God is the maintainer, how is the Lord the owner of all planets and well-wisher, and is the Deva Deva, all that. How do we? He is able to see that in person, and so that is the Sanskrit verse. But yet he is saying it's difficult to see. Nirikhyam. Something is able to see, but not completely. Why? Because it is glowing form. Supposing if I download with you so much information that you will not be able to grasp it also. So now Krishna has to give him full knowledge, but at the same time, Arjuna is not able to grasp all of it. That he is admitting. Supposing I want to tell you something, but if you frankly admit, sir, I understood this, but I could not understand this, that is appreciated. If you say, no, I understood everything, that is something wrong with you. Or if you say, I don't understand anything, that is also a problem. But if you say, this that I understood, this I didn't understand. Similarly, Arjuna is appreciating what he could appreciate and what he could not appreciate, that he is frankly admitting. And adorned with crowns, clubs, and discs because of his glaring effulgence. So he's saying that I'm seeing so many things, but I'm not able to understand some of it. Spreading on all sides with immeasurable radiance like blazing fire of the sun. So he's trying to relate that experience to what experience we have in this world. So he's very practical. But at the same time, he's saying, I'm convinced of your supremacy. Aksharam, paramam, veditavyam. You are infallible. Aksharam means infallible. Paramam means supreme. Veditavyam means objective. Knowable by liberation seekers. So what is to be known? So our knowledge is not complete unless we know the object of knowledge. Supposing you are doing a PhD, you should know after this what I will do. Otherwise, you end up after the course, you don't know what to do next, which means you don't know what is the objective. So similarly, he is able to see that the objective of what is the purpose of Krishna is able to see, or the infallible, the supreme primal objective, knowable by liberation seekers. So already who are free, who have no problems, they can understand God better. Okay. Tvam asya vishwasya param nidhanam. You are the ultimate basis, resting place and shelter of this universe after destruction. Let us say everything is destroyed. Sometimes this question arises, if I lose something, what will happen? But Krishna is saying, even if you lose everything in this world, even at the time of destruction, he will remain there with you. So that is what Arjuna has realized now. Avyayam Ashwata Dharma Gopta, the inexhaustible. How he is understanding, because he is seeing that so many things are happening in front of him, which means there is no beginning end. So which means he must be having so much energy, power, potency by which it is happening. Just like if you see a very bright light, you know it is consuming a lot of electricity. Some power supply is there, that only it is able to exhibit so much light. When he has seen this inexhaustible glories, he will understand that Krishna is powerful. You are the maintainer of the eternal religion. So Dharma Gopta, that is very important. People are doing so many things, but how they are able to do what they are doing? Because Krishna is giving faith in them to do that thing. So that's why is the Dharma Gopta. The Dharma will change from person to person. Conditional Dharma is there, which means right now I think this is what I should be doing. The person who is convinced about attending this class, he is convinced, yes, I should do this. Some person who is not convinced, he will think that is what is right thing. So Dharma Gopta means he gives the conviction by which people think that they are doing the right thing. Sanatana Purusho Matosmi. You are the eternal ancient personality of Godhead. This is my opinion. So when he saw this practically in front of him, he could connect it with the theory which he already knew. So the theory and practical should go hand in hand. So you should have some knowledge and know how to apply it. Now, next Arjuna describes about the form of time, because time is very important. You see, time can never be brought or bought. Chanakya Pandita says that one moment of time, you lose it. Even if you have spent crores of money, you cannot get it back. So you have no origin, middle, or end. Normally, whatever time we have, we split it into three parts. If you want to describe some phenomena, you have to say that this is the present, this is the past, and this is the future. Zero time, negative time, positive time. Unless you describe time like that, you cannot describe any experience. But in this case, there was no need to do that analysis of time, because In the spiritual world also, that is the experience. You are always have to think about the present. You don't have to think about the future or the past. In the material world, the problem is we always have to think time in these features. We have to think about the past. We have to think what's happening now, what to do now, what will happen in the future. It's always bothering us. But when Arjuna had the experience of this universal form, he did not worry about that because he could see everything in the present, which is the case in the spiritual world. So your strength is unlimited. You have numberless arms, which means he is able to do simultaneously many things. Supposing I have many arms, what does it mean? I can do many things with all the hands. Like Durga, goddess Durga, she's saying 8 arms, they say. Ashtabhuja Narasimha assumed 8 forms. Why? Because which means he's able to do many things simultaneously. See, in this universal form, he could see many things happening. The sun and moon are your eyes. Now the question may arise, how the sun, God is able to see us? So that analogy is given the sun, because it's not that we see the sun. There are so many living entities, they also see the sun. But who can see all the living entities that the sun can do that? That is the Lord has kept some witnesses. We put a camera to notice everything. So who's the camera for God? That is the sun and the moon. They do this function. They are witnessing everything, because sometimes we think nobody is seeing what I'm doing. Nobody is watching me, so no camera is there. Nobody will come to know. But no, the moon and the sun are the witness. Because even now remote viewing, that scientific concept is coming, because you may not be that place, but you can still view it. Especially Americans, they want to see something without putting any camera there. You can see what's happening there. So the sun and the moon, they act as the eyes of God. They can observe everything in the universe, and they will. God gets information about this universe from the sun and the moon. And I see blazing fire emanating from your mouth, burning this universe. Because why this fire is required? Because fire consumes everything. Supposing you are so much objects are there, they are occupying some space. What do? They put it in incinerator. Incinerator, in no time, it will reduce everything to minute dust. So like that, he's able to consume everything, because simultaneously he's creating and destroying the universes. Once you destroy the universe, where it will go? It has to be consumed. It has to be transformed. So this fire is able to consume everything. You're spreading throughout the sky and the planets and all space between. Seeing this astonishing and ferocious form, all the 3 worlds are perturbed. Along with Arjuna, the Lord also gave celestial eyes to the residents of other planet systems to see the universal form, so that they could witness his powers. Now, not only did Arjuna see this universal form, the demigods from other planets also were able to see glimpses of this universal form. They could not get the same experience like Arjuna, but some experience they could get. So he could see the astonishment on their faces also. So therefore, prayers of demigods, sages, hosts of demigods are surrendering before you, entering into you. Some are praising you out of fear. Hosts of sages and perfected beings saying Swasti, all peace, are praying to you by singing the Vedic hymns. So different people are responding to this universal form differently. Some are fearful, some are glorifying, and that is happening here. All are looking at you in astonishment, but more or less everyone is astonished because they have never seen this. Just like nobody saw an atom bomb explosion before that, and they had the first-hand experience. So the Rudras, Adityas, Vasus, Sadhyas, Vishwas, Ashwins, Maruts, Pitrus, Gandharvas, Yakshas, Asuras, Siddhas. So all these people are behind the scene, they are managing the affairs of this universe. Even they had no experience. Just like when this campus was built, some people know about how this building was made. They don't know about the other building because someone else was involved in that project. But here, all these people who are involved in the universal maintenance, when they saw this universal form, they were also astonished. They themselves don't know. They could see some things which they never experienced. All planets and demigods are agitated seeing your great form with many faces, eyes, arms, thighs, legs, bellies, and terrible teeth. So not only Arjuna is amazed, even the demigods who are doing much greater things, they are agitated. So this comes to the point where Arjuna also is becoming fearful. I am also fearful, unable to maintain my steadiness and mental equilibrium, seeing you that touching the sky with many radiant colors, gaping mouths and glowing eyes, O all-pervading Vishnu. So now it is this is devotion is getting disturbed by seeing this universal form. So that's what Arjuna is expressing. Supposing you are facing some problem in your devotion, you have to tell it out to someone. So that's what Arjuna is happening. First, out of devotion, he wanted to see the universal form. But after seeing the universal form, he is getting disturbed. Just like one Markandeya Rishi was there. Markandeya Rishi prayed for the benediction that he could see the devastation. And he in fact saw the devastation. Then after seeing all that, he was praying, and finally he saw that Svatapatra Sai Vishnu, and then only he became peaceful. So like that, now Arjuna is expressing his fear to Krishna. Please be merciful to me. Which means I want to show me that form of yours, which is more pleasing for me as well as for you to show me. O Lord of Lords, Devesha, refuge of the world, Jagannivasa, I cannot keep my balance seeing your blazing death-like face and awful teeth. I cannot recognize the direction. So now he is confused. What next? So that's why he says, I cannot recognize the directions. Krishna took... Now Arjuna sees the future outcomes of the war, because that is the main thing. What is the first question of Arjuna? I want to know what will be the outcome of this battle. So that's what Krishna is revealing to him, the outcome, which is what more relatable to him. What is that? Warriors are entering the Vishwarupa's mouth, because he was thinking, how will I fight this battle? How will I kill so many people? So that Krishna is going to show him how these people will be killed, how that will be accomplished. Supposing I tell you, you have to do so many works, and you become confused. So you are telling me to do this now. How will I do all this? But if I say, no, this is how it is going to be done, you just manage this much, then you are calm and quiet. So now Arjuna was perplexed in the beginning how he is going to fight this battle. So now when Krishna shows how all these people will be killed, all the sons of Dhritarashtra, allied kings Bhishma, Drona, Karna, and all the other chief warriors are rushing into your fearful blazing mouths, just like rivers enter the ocean and moths enter the fire to meet the destruction. So he's giving a very simple analogy. We all have experience that we see the rivers, they're so powerful. Nobody, Ganga expedition, for example, they are not able to ride on the Ganges. But no matter how powerful the Ganges may be, it may go and mix into the ocean, and the ocean is calm. So like that, some things are so you cannot understand some things, but when they come to some conclusion, then we are able to see the connection. So when he sees that all these rivers entering the ocean and the moths enter into fire. So moths, for example, they're so irritating. But let us say they themselves are getting destroyed by themselves. Then we are happy, nothing to do. So some of them are being strapped with the head smashed between your teeth, which means these are special cases. Sometimes you think, how I am going to solve this problem is such a difficult problem. I have seen much simpler problems, much deeper. No, that also is taken care of. Because some people are easily getting destroyed, but some people are very tough nuts are there. Those also Krishna is able to manage by putting them. Some things are there, you just swallow it, no problem, it goes inside. But some things you have to chew it and then only it goes inside. So like that, some tough cases like this, they are smashed between the teeth of the universal form. So in other words, everyone will be destroyed except the Pandavas. That's what Krishna is saying. I see you devouring all these people from all sides with your flaming mouth. So nobody can escape this death. That is what Arjuna is saying. Your effulgence is spread all over the universe by your terrible scorching rays, burning it up. So even if something is not entering the mouth of the Lord, let us say something is far away, that is also getting burnt up. Some things are there, you have to put it in the fire to burn it. But since some things are there, they need not be put in the fire, but because they are little away, even because of the heat and light, they get destroyed. So that is also happening. Arjuna has two questions after seeing this universal form. Who are you in this ferocious form? Is it, I'm seeing something which is different from you? Or what is your mission? What is the purpose of this universal form? Supposing I create some instrument, machine, and I'm not able to see what is the purpose of the machine. Then if the person explains to me, then I will appreciate it. Just like when the person first discovered electricity, the president was invited by that famous person, I forget, this light bulb, the person who discussed, okay. So when he invited the president to his place, he could not understand what is the purpose of this discovery. So then he demonstrated it, and so what is your mission? No, some other person. I am the first thing Krishna says, I am the ultimate destroyer. Kalosmi lokakkhaya krit pravruddho. I am the great destroyer of the worlds. Because what is the way to control something? Supposing you have a match, cricket match is going on. Why they put that over restriction? Otherwise, the game will go endlessly without any purpose. So you have to put some time limit on that. Then only, or you have an aptitude test. They put 100 questions in 60 minutes or something like that. Unless they put time restriction, you cannot distinguish between one and another candidate. So similarly, Kalosmi, I am the great destroyer, because many people are trying to do many things. So how to control them? You have to set some time limit. So in that way, Krishna is able to manage this entire universe. Because different people have different tendencies to do different things. So if he has to manage, you have to put some time limit. Just like if your institute allows you to do your PhD forever or BTech, MTech, no time limit, you can do as long as you want BTech, MTech, PhD, the institute will not flourish. They have to put a time limit, 4 years, 2 years, whatever. So like that, Krishna is managing this universe through time. With the exception of you, Pandavas, that is the beauty of that, as I told in the beginning. Time is destroying everyone except the devotee, which means he is able to utilize time properly. For him, there is no waste. But one who is not a devotee, no matter whatever he accomplishes in time, will be lost through time itself. So the soldiers here will be slain. Because the Pandavas were already devotees, for them time will not affect them. That's why we remember them even now. Although they have disappeared long back, still they are living we are talking about them right now. Because for them time is not restricted. Now, so then what is our role then? If God is doing everything, if already everything is destined, people ask this question. If everything is done by providence and material nature, prakriti kriyamanani, then what am I doing? What am I supposed to do? So that's why Krishna says, nimitta matram bhavasavishatas. Therefore, get up, fight, and win glory, conquer your enemies, and enjoy the flesh. That is what Krishna wants Arjuna to do. He just says, you get up and fight. They're killing or not killing, that is not your concern. Karmanya vadikaste. I have given you the right to do the work. You do it. What will be the outcome of the work, that you do not your consideration. So you have to do your part. So what is our part? We have to do our devotion. Whether it can be form of work or knowledge or whatever, yoga, we have to do that. And what is Krishna want us to get? Glory. He's saying you take the merit, credit, and you get the result, conquering your enemies. Whatever you wanted to achieve, you will achieve. And enjoy flourishing kingdom. That also Arjuna said, I don't want a flourishing kingdom in heaven also. But Krishna is saying, no, you keep it. Like Dhruva was there. Krishna gave him the planet. So they've all been killed by my plan already. Sabyasachi. Sabyasachi means Arjuna was ambidextrous. With his left arm or right arm, both he could shoot arrows. Such an accomplished person, Arjuna, Krishna is telling you, become my instrument. So, which means already as supposing an actor is there, he becomes famous not just because of his acting. The director is there, or the person who was a script writer is there. He has already made the roles, clearly defined what has to happen when, and the director is directing. That's why this actor becomes famous. So similarly, Krishna is the real director and we are the actors on his behalf. And so now Krishna is saying that this Bhishma, whoever you are trying to fight, they cannot be conquered by you. That is also he is making it very clear. Such will be Arjuna's fame. However, they have already been killed by Krishna at the time of their offending Draupadi. They are proceeding like puppets to do Arjuna's fame. So in other words, Krishna is saying that what you cannot accomplish, I will accomplish for you. Provided you cooperate with me. And I already killed Drona. Why does he have to kill all this Drona, Bhishma, Jayadratha, Karna, other warriors? Because they go against Dharma. Even though they were such great, powerful warriors and leaders, because they went against Dharma, they have to be killed. So God doesn't spare anyone. Even he doesn't spare Narakasura. Narakasura is actually son of Krishna. But Krishna didn't spare him also. There was one king. And when someone made a complaint against the son of the king took immediate action. He killed his own son. So that is how here Krishna is saying that although this Bhishma, Jayadratha, Karna, they're all mighty warriors, which means God only gave him the strength to become great. But because they misuse that power, God will also take it away. So that's what he is assuring Arjuna. So now basically Krishna wants to give credit to his devotees because Krishna knows that his devotees will never go against him. So he wants to repeatedly glorify the devotees. Now Arjuna starts offering these prayers in this section. So first thing is, some people are liking it and some people are hating it. So this is we see in the world around us. It's not that everyone will like everything or hate everything. There will be a mixture of all this. That's what Arjuna is experiencing, that even though Krishna is showing this universal form, some people like it, some people don't like it. So that we have to accept in fact. And at the same time, Krishna is worshipable all. So worship doesn't mean you always glorify. Even the atheist is indirectly worshipping God only. Because to negate God, he wants to establish something else. He will say that for these reasons, I don't need God. So, but nevertheless, he is putting some effort. So therefore, he is worshipable by all. So ultimate shelter of everything, which means everything has to rest, has to be connected with God. You cannot say something has no connection with God. With the original God, private person, ultimate refuge, knower of all, supreme, noble, shelter, all-pervading, and unlimited form. Now he offers his obeisances. He acknowledges the great. Supposing at the end of something we say thank you, which means we appreciate that. Now because Krishna had given this knowledge to Arjuna, he is offering his obeisances and repeated respects. He wants to do it again and again. Although he is not practically doing it, at least he is expressing that he wants to do it. And not only he is doing that, all the other demigods also he sees them doing it. So obeisances to you from all sides, which means I want to appreciate you in many different ways. At the same time, he's saying apologies also. Sometimes we have to apologize also. Forgive my offenses, whatever I did in a madness or love, considering you my friend. All along he had some conception about Krishna. And now he has a better experience of God. So unknowingly he might have thought less about Krishna. So that also we have to do. Then otherwise how he can follow Krishna in the battle? Because if you think someone is my friend and you are put in a situation where it is very demanding, then you won't look to your friend. You will think, okay, he's my friend, he cannot help me now. Maybe I need someone else. But here Arjuna is not only Krishna was his friend, but now also Krishna will help him. So he is begging forgiveness, and so he is glorifying further the Father of the world, most worshipable, no one equal to you in the three worlds. And he says, please tolerate me. So first is he glorified him, begged apologies, and he knows that even though he has glorified and begged his apologies, still he might commit some mistakes in future. So he's saying, please tolerate me. How? Just like the father is tolerating a son, the husband, wife tolerate each other. So he's asking that, and he has a request. What is the request? I am both gladdened and frightened, seeing your universal form, and please be merciful and reveal your pleasing form again. So although I like to see this universal form, I am more comfortable seeing your four-handed and much more to see your two-handed form. So when now Krishna is not imposing this form on Arjuna. First Arjuna requested to see the opulences he showed in the 10th chapter. Then Arjuna wanted to see the universal form. Then Krishna complied. Then Arjuna himself is saying, now please show me the 4 and 2 and form. Then Krishna obliges. Now, so what is the qualification to see this 400? And even to see the universal form, you have to do devotion. And if you have to see the 400 and 200 form, you have to do much more pure devotion. So that is the conclusion here. So why was Arjuna able to see this form which nobody had seen, even the demigod, even he showed the universal form to Duryodhana, but that was different from the universal form which he showed to Arjuna. So by our own endeavor, we cannot see. Supposing I want to see the sun right now, unless I go to some other place, I cannot see. Or even then, if I go to some other place also, I have a limited conception of the sun unless I go to the sun planet. So, but here Krishna is revealing to Arjuna in the same body. So this is very rare. Now he says, let this vision be over. Why Krishna wants to stop showing this universal form? Because if he continues to see this universal form, Arjuna will not do also. Okay, I have seen that you are going to do everything. So let me sit quiet. So now he has to come back to this original condition. So then Krishna reveals his 4-armed form. So in other words, Krishna is giving the assurance to Arjuna that you keep doing your work, I will be doing the work in the background. How I will be doing the thing in the background? See, I have this universal form, I have my 400 form and a 200 form. So you do in your capacity what is possible for you. Then from my capacity, I will do what I should do. So what is the conclusion? That Krishna's personal form and bhakti. That we should always be convinced that God is a person and we need to serve him, although we don't see him. Normally we see someone, immediately someone comes here, okay, I will talk to him, but I'll forget the person who's not in front of me. We cannot focus our mind simultaneously on 2 people. Supposing you have to address the person in front of you, won't address the person behind you. But here, Arjuna is able to recognize that the most important person in the whole thing is Lord Krishna, and he has to pay his attention to what Krishna is telling him to do on the battlefield. So the conclusion of this chapter is Bhaktya Ananyaya Shakya Aham Eva Arjuna Jnatam Drashtam Cha Tatvena Praveshtum Cha Parantapa. Only by undivided devotional service. So devotional service should not be mixed with karma, jnana, and yoga. If you are pure vision only, you can you understand as I am? Supposing I have a defective vision, I cannot see things properly. But so I need some proper vision. So similarly, just like a camera is there, it should be very refined camera. Then only I can see the details. So unless your devotion is pure, you cannot see things which are happening in this world. Only in this way it is possible to know me, see me, enter into the mysteries of my understanding. So how can we really perceive what the world around us? Unless you are a devotee, you cannot perceive. Just like so many powerful people there assembled on the battlefield, they thought that I can see and do something. But nobody could succeed. Only Arjuna, because he had this experience much before, he could win successfully. So what is the essence of Bhagavad Gita? Perform bhakti and attain Krishna. Mat karma krit mat paramo mad bhakta sangavajjitaha nirvaira sarvabhuteshu yasa mam eti pandava. This is the conclusion. He who works for me, considering me the supreme, who is devoted to me without material attachments, without enmity towards any living being. So very important thing here is without enmity toward any living being. So that is the biggest problem we have. We think that this is my friend, this is neutral, this is my enemy. So we don't go forward in life. But the real qualification, without enmity toward any living being, will surely attain me, O Arjuna. So in other words, when we see things in connection with God, supposing a dog is there, you think, oh, it's going to bite me. But when you see the master in front of the dog, then okay, no problem. Master is here, the dog will not bite me. So the problem is in this world, we see so many things and get confused because we don't see its connection with God and how He's able to control every situation. Now, when we see nobody as our enemy, which means that we can see everyone as connected to God, or all non-living things also in connection with God. So surely you will attain me, Arjuna. Okay, thank you very much. Because of the initial disturbances, I took some extended time. Any questions, comments? Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Previously, we saw that Lord will that is universal form.
No, different. Because that is different, but here simultaneously one and different. In one body, he is able to see everything. That is separated. What he is talked about is separated energies. But here, everything is within Krishna. See, something so you have to analyze. Some food, I give you some food. Then what they do, they split the different constituents and then say this is the separately. But then again, you have to put it together. Then only you get the complete. Supposing you are learning some mechanical engineering, they dissect all the components of that engine or whatever, and they explain it to you separately. But then again, you have to put it together. Then only you can get the full understanding. So similarly, now Krishna had explained things separately. That Bhumi Rapo Analo Vayu Kam Mano Buddhi Reva Ahankara. Like that, he had explained everything. Now again, he is seeing all together in this universal form.
I heard that this universal form is a material form. Does not exist in spiritual world.
Yeah, because it is specifically for this material world, to run this material world. It is the background arrangement that it is driving this. Just like sometimes on festival time you erect some tents or something, just like last week or something. They had set up some stalls here. They are not there right now. But for some specific purpose, they were erected. So like that, the universal form is for a very specific time-limited purpose. So every time the universe is created, destroyed, and that time it will constantly keep, the blueprint will keep on changing. Because the living entities have changing desires and changing activities. In the spiritual world, you don't need, because the desires are fixed. In the sense, their only desire is to please Krishna, and their activities are also fixed. The way they serve Krishna, they only do it that way. But here we are constantly changing our desires and activities. So just like a special purpose vehicle, for a temporary purpose, you set up some facility. After that purpose is over, you dismantle it. So similarly, the universal form is for us, just like a prison house is there. It is built for some time. See, the government doesn't plan a prison for 100 years. Maybe a city they will plan for 100 years. Because prison requirements may change. So they cannot design a prison for 200 years. They may decide for 200 years. Because the type of criminal activity will change, isn't it? So accordingly, they have to have different facility. So universal form obviously has to be changing form.
All other they have they are there in spiritual world, but the universal form is not there.
Yes, it's not there.
One more thing, like all of us, we perceive things as we have to with our past experience.
Yes.
So in this material we perceive time. When we discuss about Krishna saying that I am time.
Right.
We perceive the time as like scientifically we perceive the present set of the sun.
Yes.
So that is limited to this universe only.
Yes.
Spiritual world, how there is no time at all.
Yes. The time is there, but not the way it is functions here. Here, time is relative. Although we say, okay, I am defining time as per this crystal, whatever they use, modern time. But that is also relative. They have seen some places in this world, you do some research. There's a tunnel in one place. People, when they enter the tunnel, there's some time. When they come out of the tunnel, the time is negative. They're not able to explain that. So there are some phenomena which we cannot explain in the way we use the time scale. Huh? So here time is based on perception. Supposing you like something, the time goes very fast. And you don't like something, something is happening in front of you which is boring, then time goes very slowly. So no matter how much you try to define time, scientists are not able to exactly tell what is time. Because time is currently based on our perception. And objective time is not based, if you have to describe something scientifically in physics, we have to be objective and not subjective. But currently all our experiences are all subjective only. Because we are limited by a body which is subjective. And therefore you cannot get to the objective experience of time. So that's why we have to take information from Krishna or the scriptures, which are giving the true definition of time. Because see, we are saying Brahma's lifetime so much long years, my lifetime is only 100 years. What is actually mean is his perception is different from us. The way for him time is functioning, all the time scale is same for both of us, because we are all living entities. My time and Brahma's time essentially should be the same, but still his time is more than me, which means God must be partial. Why he is giving such Brahma so much lifetime, for me mosquito short lifetime? No, it is not like that. It is our perception of time. So just like in a dream, for example, in a dream you see you did so many things and you wake up and see just for 2 hours you are sleeping and you had the experience of 2 years maybe in the dream. So each one is in the dream worlds and they are perceiving time in different ways. But who's to tell them that this is the reality? Huh? So therefore we have to hear from God or the liberated souls. They can see time properly. Because as you said, in the spiritual world, they don't have to think about the past and the future. They are only, because they get satisfaction in the present. Why we are thinking about past, present, and future? We are not satisfied in the present. We are being bothered by past or the future. But in the spiritual world, that botheration is not there because we are fully focused. Just like sometimes you're focused on the job, you didn't even know the time was passing, how fast or slow. Some people have that experience. You say, I didn't even know that so much time has gone. So how is that? Because you're experiencing something else which cuts off you from this experience. So similarly, in the spiritual world, we are only experiencing Krishna. So that time doesn't limit us there, like it is limiting here. Just like I said, why you are writing exam. That time you are putting 3 hour time limit. But actually speaking, when you are doing your research also, they are going through some exams. But no time limit has been set. But then also you are learning and you are exhibiting what you learned. So time is not required in the sense that it's required in this material world. Just like in the movie, for example, in the movie I dim the light sometime and brighten the light to give a different experience. So for that purpose, there is day and night. But it's not like the day and night which is forced on us in this material world. Here means it is forced on us. We cannot change day into light, light into day. Our seasons also are forced on us. Spring, summer, autumn, winter means you cannot change the seasons. But in the spiritual world, the seasons can be changed. The day and night also can change as per the will of the Lord and the devotee. It can change any moment because it's based on consciousness. Okay, thank you. No further questions. We will do the chanting, Om chanting. So I thank the participants on the Zoom. 1 minute. 1 minute. There's one question we can use. Okay, no, okay. Anyway, just 1 minute. I'll end the session here. Thank you for joining us. Next chapter is a very short chapter. Now onwards, chapters will be shorter because Krishna has conveyed most of it. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, almost a very short chapters. Only the last chapter is the conclusion, so it will be a bit long. So please join us next week, Sunday. That's a very most important we can say because it's about devotional service. Hare Krishna. I request the host to end the session.